Hi, thank you for joining me for another week's reflections as we look or continue to look through 1 Peter, Peter's first letter. We're in chapter 2, and last week we had a glorious week. I enjoyed it, looking at verses 9 and 10 about the reality of what God has done for us through Jesus Christ and the reality of who we are because of his incredible mercy. Well, now as we reach verse 11 of chapter 2, we start to get a little bit of detail of how we are to respond, the practical ways in which we can respond to all the good news that God has given us. So 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 11 says this: "Dear friends, I urge you, as foreigners and exiles, to abstain from sinful desires which wage war against your soul." Again, let me remind you that the people that Peter was first addressing were scattered throughout the Roman Empire. They were exiled from their homeland, from the city of God, from Jerusalem. And yet, Peter finds it necessary to remind them that even though they feel that they're foreigners in that land, even though they're exiled from their homeland, don't get dragged in to the habits and the lifestyle of the people who are around you. I urge you, he's saying. He's kind of really quite desperate for them to understand. Abstain from sinful desires which wage war against your soul. Now, I think this is a word in season. I think it's very easy for us when we live in the midst of such a dark society and a world where it's not very cool, is it, to follow Jesus and to live God's ways. I think it's quite easy for us to get kind of sucked into some pretty sinful desires, and we excuse them or we dress them up or whatever, and we adopt them, some of them. But these are desires which wage war against our souls. And so we're to take heed, I think, of Peter's warning here, and make sure that we're very careful not to kind of be dragged into such a way of living. God has chosen us in all these different ways. God has created us to be the people that that Peter's described in verse 9 and 10 for reasons. And because of that, or as part of that, we're to be very careful that we uphold our status as a chosen people, a royal priesthood, etc. So we need to be on our guard. We need to be anxious to abstain from the things that will drag us down, the things that will attack our soul, our spirit, the things that will cause us to go on sinning in ways that we really don't want to. Take care out there. It's a dangerous world that we live in. So let me urge myself as people who feel perhaps this is a foreign land around us, to abstain from sinful desires. Let's keep close to God through Jesus and through his word. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for blessing us and instructing us and helping us, guiding us. Help us to pay attention to all that you offer us. Amen. Bless you. Take care.